Hey, everybody. Welcome. It's December 26th, Boxing Day in Canada. It looks like it's Boxing Day in Africa too, but I do hope that we get a lot of our friends from Africa joining us because we're in step number four of our December theme, which was the 4 steps to success, the proven success from Daughtrey. So today we have step number 4, solidify, and it's going to be a good one, guys. So please take your pen and your paper and let's talk a little bit about not only how to find them, how to get them, but how to keep them because that is the name of the game. How do you actually get to keep such a large organization? And for that, who better than our mentor, Platinum of Platinums, Dave and Gabriella Daughtrey, to give us their pointers. So Dave, take it away.
Thank you, Claudia. And thanks again for joining. I know that we just had Christmas yesterday, so I'm sure a lot of people are still in that mode, especially if you're traveling. I know we've got our guest, Ron. Thanks for being here. I know we've got James, we've got Richard, Jeff here from Florida, from Phoenix. So thanks you guys for joining in today. What we're going to talk about today, I'm going to do a quick review, especially for our new guests that aren't familiar with my 4-step plan of action. I've been in this industry for 41 years. I started in 1981 in networking, and I was very blessed to have great mentors, great teachers at such a young age, because that really instilled in me a lot of the philosophies that I now apply in this business, of which 2 of those, because I've been through my ups and downs as well. The first 18 years, I had been through a couple of companies that ended up failing me, but the industry never failed me. And so even though I'd been through a couple of business failures, I would always say that when the business model never failed me, people did. Maybe it was the poor administration or just no principles or values, within the company. So that's one philosophy that really kept me going. And the other one was never base tomorrow's successes on yesterday's failures. In other words, we learn from things, decisions we make, mistakes we might make. We learn and grow from them. It's a process. And so when 4Life came into my life in 1998, I was definitely in need of an opportunity, but also had some serious health issues with Crohn's disease. And it's a digestive disorder. So transfer factor really, when I started taking it, that's what really caught my attention. Something no one had really heard of, and still virtually, you could talk to 100 people and you're lucky if you find 1 or 2 that have heard of transfer factor. So the product I fell in love with, but because of my previous experiences, I was unsure about the company. I didn't know anyone in the company. And I thought, well, if I'm going to partner with a company, and this is a partnership, all of you as well, if you've joined 4Life, and I hope you have partnered with the company. They're your partner. You want to know your business partner, all right? Same thing in marriage. You wouldn't marry someone that you don't know, right? Your partner. So the same applies here. So I had to know who is the captain, of this ship, who's the pilot of this plane. I want to make sure it doesn't go down in flames. So I took a trip to Utah in 1998 with my wife, Gabie, and that day changed our lives. That was October 20th, 1998. And I just knew in my heart, with or without me, 4Life would be a very successful company. Since I felt that way, why not join? I'd be a fool not to join, and I did. But when I came back from that trip in Utah, I thought, okay, I've now signed an application back in the paper days, signed an application, left it on David Lisenby's desk. I didn't have a sponsor, by the way. And that was because the gentleman that sent me the transfer factor was the chief scientific officer. I'd met him years before, and he's an executive at the company. Well, he's retired now, was an executive, and he can't sign anybody up. So I just told David Lisenby, place me where you want. And he put me number 12. There's 11 in my upline. And I came home and said, okay, it's time to go to work. What next? Sat down, wrote out my plan of action. So that's what this is. That's what we're going to talk about today. Step 4, which is solidify. All right. And that's a pretty simple one to talk about. So I want to really review real quick what the other 3 are. Where do you find this plan of action? On my website, davedaughtry.com. Just go to the library, education library, and then you would click on documents, and English, Spanish, Portuguese is there, and you have access. There's not a ton of stuff there, but it's some of the things that I've applied in my business. Now, I'm going to be modifying this. I talked this with Claudia last week. We're going to be modifying this plan of action a little bit. It's not going to change as far as the topic itself. Like, 1 is to prepare, 2 is prospect, 3 is identify, and 4 is solidify. But as you get into each one, some things have changed. For example, prepare. That's step number 1. Well, to prepare just simply means we get paid to do one thing: deliver a message. We're messengers. We don't have to deal with overhead expenses. We don't have to deal with employees. You don't have to deal with licensing, payroll, taxes, rents, offices, all that stuff. Processing credit cards, deliveries, shipping, nothing. We get paid to do one thing: be a messenger. Therefore, we want to learn to be a good messenger, be a good ambassador. And to do that, you have to prepare, even practice. I practiced in the mirror. I'd be driving around, in my car, talking to myself, practicing my message about the company. What bullet points could I deliver about this company I'd fallen in love with? What about transfer factor? Could I tell people the benefits of transfer factor? To recognize, respond, remember threats. When COVID hit, by the way, in 2020, March, my business grew 15 million. That's life points. In dollars, probably $20 million in 30 days. 30 days, you see, because we got the message out there. A lot of people just weren't ready for the message, okay? Our responsibility is to deliver the message. It's not our responsibility to make everybody be ready for the message. But if we're good messengers and we get good at identifying people in our prospecting, you identify their needs. You address someone's needs. That's what they want to hear about. Especially those of you that have been in network marketing a while, you've all heard of WIFM. What's in it for me? That's what they want to know. If they're gonna look at a product or look at an opportunity, what's in it for them? Identify their needs. But in order to do that, you have to be able to talk and deliver the message. So that's what number 1 is: preparing. What we're changing in that part of the messaging of preparing is that back in the day, when I put this all together, the plan of action, preparing was really just you being able to talk about those 3 main things: company, product, opportunity. Well, today we've got a cell phone app that you almost feel like you got to go take a course at university to use it, but you don't. It actually is quite simple, but it is very, what's the word I'm looking for here? Intuitive. This app allows you to send all kinds of content to people. And the only way you can use the app is if you're logged into it. The only way to log in is to sign up. You have an account number and a password. That way, everything you do within that app is connected to you. You send content to someone, be it a video, a product profile, maybe a story that's in there on someone. Well, if they ever click on purchase or sign up, it's linked to you because it came from you. That's the one great thing about that app. You're going to be leaving your footprints all over the place out there as you send content to people with that app. So that's part of preparing, understanding how to use the app, understanding how to use your shop. When I joined For Life, we didn't have an e-commerce shop. Everybody today has a shop. You can put your own extension on the shop. Like I'm sure Ron Saunders has forlife.com/Ronnie. All right. So he sends his personal link to anybody, his digital link. Anytime somebody clicks on that, makes a purchase, he gets 25%. So there's a lot of people out there these days that have some influence. They like a product, they blast it out, they put their link, whether it's on Instagram, Facebook, or just send it out in email, text, WhatsApp, 25%. Anytime someone clicks on that. And guess what? All my shop purchases are paid daily. So somebody wants to make an extra 100, 200 bucks real quick, start sharing your shop with people. Someone makes a purchase, they run the rewards that night, the My Shop rewards, you get paid the next day. And of course, you transfer the funds to your account. So these are the things that I'm going to be adding into prepare. Okay, but preparing really is doing like Vince Lombardi said, to my American friends here that know Vince Lombardi. I know we have Dr. Regina. Hey, Doc, or Ken, you ever heard of Vince Lombardi? You have? Okay, great. Green Bay Packers football coach would always say, it's not just the will to win, but the will to prepare to win. So you want to prepare yourself to win. And that's what this is all about. Understanding at the same time, don't get caught up in analysis paralysis. You don't have to know everything. You earn while you learn. You see, the best the best educator, the best teacher is experience. All right. And that's step number 2, the prospecting. All right. You prepare, but what's going to get you really good in your messaging is practice. When I joined For Life, I called my grandma, 96 years old. Grandma, I started a new business, new company. I want to present to you. I want to share with you what this is so I can practice. She said, yeah, she even bought a bottle of Transfer Factor. 96 years old. I knew that she wasn't going to go out and try to become a platinum international diamond in For Life, but I practiced with my family, friends, people I knew. I told them what I was doing. I was not afraid to tell them. So in your prospecting efforts, I always tell people, begin looking at your circle of influence. Who do you know? Now, I understand warm market can tend to be much more difficult than cold market. Why? They can judge you. They know you. They know your past. They know what you've done. You know, you might have been like me, 18 years, and all of a sudden I finally found a home in the industry. And, my credibility, it had been online a little bit because a lot of people I brought in before, things didn't go so well. So it's like, well, Dave, I don't know if I want to follow you to that one. And, a lot of them did not, but the ones that did today are millionaires. And by the way, I have 180 millionaires on my team now around the world. So, excuse me. So in your prospecting efforts, all right, begin thinking about who you have influence over. All right. Who can you influence, inspire, entice to at least come and look because you've asked them to. All right. And they'll make up their decision, but we're all out there planting seeds. Prospecting is planting seeds. It's the lifeblood of this business. Sadly enough, a lot of people join, they spend months, maybe even a year or two planting seeds, and then they disappear. Well, someone else comes behind them and harvests those seeds by talking to that same individual a second time, or even a third time, or a fourth time. And look, it's all about timing. When someone's ready, they're ready. If they're not ready, they're not ready. And really, there's not much you and I can do about it to make them be ready. But in our prospecting efforts, we're not out there to try to convince the world. We're looking for people that are prepared to make a change. And by the way, here we are coming up to New Year's. What's one of the biggest resolutions people make? We got weight loss. I'm going to lose some weight. I'm going to get in shape. I'm going to go to the gym. What about I want to make some more money? People that are like sick and tired of having too much month at the end of the money, or just living a life of survival and not living a life of abundance. There's a lot of people out there that would rather change from survival to abundance, or even from survival to contribution, but you can't contribute something you don't have. So therefore, we're showing people an option. We're giving people options, but the only way it's going to happen is if we're out there, talk. Always have your antennas up. I had a lady on the plane coming back from Boston. I was in Boston 2 weeks ago. She sat next to me on the airplane, and they canceled our flight. Actually, it was on the way to Boston. I had a nonstop flight, which I never knew they had, from San Diego direct to Boston on Delta Airlines. Red-eye flight, but nonstop, 6.5 hour flight. Well, they canceled the flight on us at the last minute, and they put me on a flight to Atlanta, then Atlanta, Boston, still a red-eye flight. But when they bumped us, I got first class, which I had bought from San Diego to Atlanta, but they put me on row 36 from Atlanta to Boston. It was only 38 rows on the plane. I was next to the last row, which is fine. It's no big deal. But the lady sat next to me was also on that same flight to Boston nonstop. And she sat next to me, and real simple, I just asked a question. You going to Boston on the San Diego flight? And she said, yeah, we got canceled. And so we kind of laughed about it. That broke the ice. All right. Well, after that, I just asked her where she lived. She lives up in Maine. I love Maine, by the way. One of my favorite musicians is from Maine, Dan Fogelberg. He passed away. He died many years ago. But I've even been to his house up in Maine. All right. So we're talking and conversing. I asked her what she does for a living. She's retired. But here's what's cool. She is a mechanical engineer. She designed high-powered jets for the military. Top secret stuff. I mean, stuff that we don't just give out, to other countries, because we want our jets to be better than their jets. And so she designed these things, and I was like intrigued. I was like asking all kinds of questions about the, F-18 fighters and Hornets, and she's telling me about this stuff. Well, then she asked me what I do. Started telling her about work from home. I'm in the health and wellness industry. I've got a product called Transfer Factor. It's unique. It's patented. I tell her what it does. And she says, my husband has a condition. I'd like to take a look at it. You see, if I had not opened my mouth and planted that seed, nothing would have happened. That's what I mean by having your antennas up all the time in your prospecting efforts. Many times we miss opportunities because we just don't talk to someone. This is a social business. So if you're not social, you can learn to be social. I hate it when someone says, well, I'm not a salesperson, or I'm not very social. Look, if you really have a desire to live this life of abundance and you're looking for an option, this is a learned business. You learn it. And you don't have to go to university to learn it. It's simple. It really is simple, but that doesn't mean it's easy. Sure, there's changes you have to make in order to be successful. You'll learn new skills, social skills, leadership skills, communication skills. Patience is a skill, but that's all done in the process. All right. So number 2 is prospecting, lifeblood of the business. All right. And that's how you develop those skills, by being out there exercising them. All right. 3, identify. And this one I'm going to be modifying a little bit as well. Identifying. Many times we put our time and energy into areas that don't bring us any type of results or reward. And then we get really frustrated. All right. It could be something as simple as, beating someone over the head. Same person. You got to join me. You got to join me. You got to look. If they're not ready, the last thing you want is to call them and they don't answer the phone just because they don't want to talk to you. All right. Wouldn't it be wonderful that if you called them back again, you had some sort of good news, like, hey, I just became a diamond, or hey, I just got the company. Here's a good one, by the way. 3 people. You sign up 3 people, get those 3 on loyalty program. That means they have a 100 life point. That's a qualifying loyalty order. You have a minimum of 100 life point loyalty order. All right. And your team, which is you and those that you sponsor, that's your team for the builder bonus. You have 600 life points total. Well, if you've got 100 and they have 100, there's 4 right there. But if you have 125 because you want to get the free product of the month, a 125 loyalty order gives you free product of the month, and you get 15% in reward points of your entire 125 that can be applied towards free products. By the way, I looked at my wife's account over the weekend. She's got almost 1,000 reward points she can get for free products. So if you're on 125 and they're on 125, well, now what are you at? You're at 500. Another 100 life points between you and your team. That gives you a builder bonus. What's a builder bonus? Level 1's $50. It's every month, though. It's not a one-time thing. It's every single month. As long as you are qualifying, you get that builder bonus. Where does it come from? Global sales. So now you're getting paid a little share, a little portion of what the company does worldwide. How many people have a job can say that? They say, you know what? I got a $50 bonus this month. Think about it. $50 every single month. You multiply that times 12. You've got yourself $600 a year in extra cash that the company paid you, simply because of some performance that you did on sales all over the world. So that's good news. You can call someone and just say, hey, my company has paid me on their global sales. Now, if you duplicate that builder bonus, by the way, it's 200. And you can duplicate one more time, and it comes out to 800 every single month. And 4Life surprises us. Probably, I'd say about maybe 4 times a year, they surprise us and they double the builder bonus. That's now gone to $100, $400, and $1,600. In fact, we had one of our Kenyan friends, Kenya affiliates, Viona, she won the 1,600 builder bonus in Kenya. So what I'm saying is, back to identify, I apologize, I got off on a tangent there, is that you when you call someone back, all right, you want to try to give them good news, not always beat them over the head. You're identifying people that are ready. And in order to do that, you have to work the numbers. Strength in numbers, law of averages. There's a place in Mexico called Sinaloa. That's what it stands for. Sinaloa is strength in numbers and law of averages. I got that acronym a long, long time ago. I heard that from someone. That was pretty cool. But the point is this: identifying does really help you in your prospecting efforts. All right. It's about their needs. What do they need? It could be extra money. It could be a health challenge. And the only way you're going to identify those needs is by talking and listening to the person you're talking to. Now, I do use colors, the magic of colors in identifying people. Green people are technical people. You talk to someone that's a green person, they're going to be hitting you with all kinds of questions. They're going to be hitting you, with technical stuff. And if you've not prepared and you've not gotten on some of these Zooms, like we had a great Zoom last week with Dr. Brent Vaughn. It was amazing listening to him talk about gold factor. I mean, I just messaged him, by the way, before this right now. I want to get on with him personally and start learning a bit more about the gold factor. I'm blown away by the potential of that product alone, let alone the other products we have. But the green people are technical. Be prepared, man. Have those bullets in your gun ready to fire back. And if you don't have the answers to their technical questions, you can get them. That's what Upline is for. That's what, the website's for. That's what the app is for. There's always answers out there. All right. We do tons of Zooms where people have, Q&As, throughout the week. So, but green people technical. By the way, green people make decisions not on emotion. They may base it on knowledge, on understanding. They make decisions based on information and knowledge. Yellow people are just the opposite. They make decisions based on emotion. They get emotional. If you get too technical with them, you're going to lose them because they start thinking, oh my gosh, I can't do that. That's too much information. So you have to identify that in an individual. If they're yellow, story tell, story sell, facts tell. We've all heard that. They want to hear stories, testimonies. They want to help change the world. All right. By through their efforts and service is extremely important. You might even show them the foundationforlife.org. That's our foundation all over the world now. We've built orphanages, houses, schools. For Life is literally built, from Indonesia to the Dominican Republic to Colombia. Yellow people, they'll go on those trips that For Life does, these projects. Those are yellow people, emotional. They make decisions on emotion. I always tell the story. I'm going to tell it again for new people that are here today. I was in Viña del Mar, Chile, South America, when a lady stood up, gave a testimony on how transfer factor saved her cat's life. Her cat had cancer. She started giving the cat transfer factor, not the plus, just straight transfer factor. And the cat survived and became very healthy. When she gave the testimony, she was very emotional about it. She loves her cat. A lady sitting next to me started getting all teary-eyed. She started crying. And I looked at her and I said, "What powerful testimony." And the lady says, "I love cats." That's a typical yellow person. So you talk about, stories, emotion. Blue people. Blue people just want to have fun, like Cyndi Lauper says. We just want to have fun, all right? You're going to see blue people are your celebrity types. They're the types, if you go to a party, the social butterflies walking around just saying hi to everybody. They love being involved. They love they'll be on all the Zooms. They'll be at all the conventions, all the rallies, because they just like being involved in community, having fun, having a good time. So with blues, it's all about the relationship. It's all about that bonding. So when you talk to a blue person, it may not even be about opportunity or product. It might simply be they want to be part of something. They want to be part of something where people are doing things positive. People are having a good time. That's why we always have an opening party at convention and a closing party at convention. How many of us, those of you that were at convention, had fun at that closing party? I was dressed up like super chicken, I had the super chicken costume on and I got in a cockfight with another super chicken there that night. We were having fun. But anyhow, that's a lot of blue people, you'll see them at the parties. Relationships, that's what's critical with the blue person. Let them have their time and space talking to. Blue people like to express opinions. They're not afraid to talk. Let them. By letting them, they warm up to you. All right. You develop that relationship. Then there's the red people. Executive types, very square. Everything they do is what's the word I'm looking for here, is constructed. In other words, they plan everything. All right. They plan their work and work their plan. Every day they've got their schedule. If they say that it's meet in the lobby at lunch at noon, you better be there at noon. If not, they're out the door and gone. If you tell a red person, look, I just need 30 minutes of your time, don't go 40 minutes. If you're at 30, say, look, I know I've taken 30 minutes. You have a few more minutes. Or if they're asking questions, great. But they're very structured. That's what I'm looking for. They're structured. So those are your executives, presidents, people like that. So respect them, respect their time, respect them. All right. The red people. And be direct. You have to be direct with red people because they're going to be that way with you, be that way back to them. So these colors, by the way, all they're there for is to help you identify the person you're talking to. So you can be a rainbow and adapt to them. All right. You adapt to the color you're talking to. That's a skill, again, that you develop by exercising your networking abilities as you're talking to people, building your network, building the team, building the family. All right. Now let's get to number 4. Number 4, solidify. So we talked about prepare, prospect, identify, solidify. As I mentioned with the blue people, it's all about relationships, having strong relationships. How do you do that? Well, I'll never forget, I went to a seminar. I was 22 years old, and my mentor, Joe, he basically told me, he forced me. It was a Friday night. I was going to go out having fun. I'm young, single. I was going to go partying with some friends of mine. And Joe calls me up and he says, what are you doing? So I'm going to go out, Joe, and have fun with my friends, my buddies, Friday night. And he says, no, get a jacket, put a jacket on, put a tie on. I'm picking you up. You're going with me to a seminar. And I was like, hem-hawing around. Joe, I don't want to go. He said, I'm going to pick you up in 30 minutes. Be ready. Shows up to my apartment. I go with him. He gives me my ticket, walk in. Venue's about 500 to 600 people. It was full, by the way. The venue was full. So I well, okay. Row 1. Walk down to row 1, sit down. The podium's right in front of me. I could get up and reach out, almost touch it. So all of a sudden, this man comes and sits next to me in row 1. Joe sits on my left. Man sits next to me on my right. And his hair is just about white. And a man sits next to him. His hair is gray. A man sits next to him and he's bald, no hair at all. Well, the guy sits next to me, reaches over and says, young man, what's your name? I said, my name's David Daughtrey. Nice to meet you, David. My name's Jim Rohn. Shakes my hand. I never heard of Jim Rohn before. Shakes my hand. The man next to him reaches over and says, David, nice to meet you. My name's Zig Ziglar. Never heard. I thought Zig was a funny name. I remember Zigzags. I remember Zig Ziglar. Shakes my hand. And then next to him, the guy reaches over the bald guy and says, David, pleasure to meet you. My name's Mark Victor Hansen. Never heard of the guy. Turns out he's written books with Jack Canfield called Chicken Soup for the Soul. Those are the 3 speakers that night. I was mesmerized. Never heard of him before, but I was mesmerized. Jim Rohn gave me a piece of advice. When we sat next to him, we conversed and talked. He said, I don't know what company you represent, but I just want to give you a piece of advice. Attend every meeting, every rally, every seminar, every convention that you can for your company, because some will be life-changing. That will literally change your life, set you on a course, all right, to your future progress, your future success. And you don't know which ones those are. So you go to all of them. Some might be boring, fine, but some will be life-changing. You don't know which ones they are, so you go to all of them. And I took that to heart, and I always attended every meeting, every rally, seminar, convention I could go to. Never missed a 4Life convention in 25 years. Been to all of them. And yeah, some have been life-changing, all right. So, that's the solidifying part. When we go to these, we solidify our relationships. Why do people think about church? People go to church on Sunday. Well, it solidifies, it fills up your spiritual cup, but it solidifies the family, within that church. Everyone goes, they shake hands, they meet each other the same way, at company parties. You go to a company party, you meet people, you solidify the relationships. No different here. So how do we do it in our business? Well, it's easier today. I mean, back in the day, in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, there's for me to solidify a relationship with Dr. Ogina and the Kenya team, like we have Tricia here, we have a number of our Kenyan friends, Florence, Mercy, Jennifer, Doro, Margaret, thanks for joining you guys. To solidify the relationship with you guys back then, I would have been spending probably $5,000 a month on a telephone bill. Today you got Zoom, WhatsApp, Messenger. You can be talking to people all over the world instantly, and it's free. It's the cost of internet. That's it. So to solidify your relationships today, yes, we've got wonderful tools, but, and there's a big but, by the way, and I learned this from COVID, these tools like this Zoom, it's wonderful for long distance, but there is no substitute. And J. Michael, I think you'll agree with me, no substitute for meeting people face to face. We were just out. In fact, J. Michael, I'm going to unmute you here real quick. Back in September, where was Gabie and I?
Tyler, Texas.
Out where you live. What did we go do?
You had actually, I think you brought your daughter here for some medical work, dental work, but you came to Tyler, Texas, and spent, I think you were here 3 days, 3.5 days.
Yeah.
And we got together multiple times and for just social fellowship, but also we were working, talking. Who do you know? What's happening in Kenya? What's happening in California? And you're right. It's actually your backyard. I just saw yesterday, by the way, this is more personal for me, but California and Texas are the only 2 states in America that have over 30 million in each state population. So I'm thinking right in my backyard, the state I live in, there's over 30 million possibilities here. So,
right.
And right here in the United States. So we just passed over 30 million here in this state.
Yep. That's very true. I mean, our backyard's a gold mine,
Yep.
And I don't know what the population of Florida is, but everywhere, no matter where you live.
Yeah, I think it's 3rd or 4th, but
you start in your backyard, you work your backyard, but think globally as well. Just like you see here, we've got people maybe even South Africa on with us today.
Yeah.
I think I saw also, we have, I thought I saw somebody from Latin America here, Carlos in Miami, but anyhow, Zoom is wonderful when it comes to this training. It's great. Even first exposure could be okay if you have someone long distance, like we've got, Jeff and Ron's in Florida. We've got a few people here in Florida, actually. Obviously I'm not going to get on a plane and just fly to Florida today. You want to do your first exposure to see whether or not there's an interest, but eventually, love to go to fly. Love Florida. My kids love to go to Disney World too. So Claudia, have I been up to where you are in Canada?
Yes, sir. You came and met the whole team at the beginning, and it was great. People were super excited. It was great. We ate some chicken.
Gina.
We ate butter chicken.
That's right. Now we're going up there to Canada. It was fun. Dr. Ogina, have I been out to where you are?
Pardon?
Have I been to where you are?
Oh man, a number of times we've been together. We've gone around the entire country together, sat, had a chat all the way till midnight, had the meals, talked to everything, family, social, and then business. It's been great, yeah.
Your story is interesting, Doc, because look, those of you who don't know Dr. Ogina, we have some new guests on today here in the States. Dr. Ogina is a medical doctor, studied in the United Kingdom, and he's been in network marketing. He was with Forever Living Products for many years. And so when you meet someone that knows networking, in fact, I know Dr. Ogina loves Jim Rohn. He listens to a lot of the motivational speakers, Zig Ziglar and John Maxwell and so on. And so Dr. Ogina, the day I met him, I'll never forget it. He walked in, you talk about someone with a positive attitude. He had just been mugged, assaulted basically, where his MacBook Pro was stolen from him, but he had been asked by a 4Life distributor if he would just come and give a word, deliver a message in the office in Nairobi, Kenya. And he still did it, even after having his MacBook Pro stolen from him. He showed up and walked up in front, and the first words out of his mouth were, "You must aspire to inspire before you expire." I'll say it again. You must aspire to inspire before you expire. And that hit me really hard when he said that. I thought, man, this guy's good. I got to do something. And I invited him to lunch at the Intercontinental Hotel. and Dr. Ogina came, he listened, he invited Jacinta. I don't know if Jesse's with us today or not, but Jacinta came over during the conversation, and we talked. And it was really just getting to know each other, network marketing talk. He's a networker, I'm a networker. We talked, and then, he didn't join. It was a couple, 3 months later, I was on a trip. And what really, and Doc, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was a trip that we did together. I went out to where Dr. Ogina lives in Nakuru, and we went through the national park and just spent the day. In fact, on my Instagram page, I think I have a picture of me petting baboons and or feeding baboons. I don't think you ever pet them. I think you feed them. But anyhow, it was that day of just hanging out, just talking, getting to know each other, having fun, that we really bonded. And I think that's the day that Dr. Ogina probably felt, what, For Life would be great to be involved with. Am I correct, Doc?
Very true, Dave. And we didn't even talk about business. We just talked generally about the industry. And we had a lot of social interaction and bonding. But what made me or us develop interest in what you are involved in is the kind of personality, the person we saw you to be. And we thought, this is the person we'd like to associate with, even in business. And therefore, that's the day I developed interest and got involved. So sometimes it takes much more than just telling somebody about a business or about a product.
Right. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. But it's very true. People buy you first. They buy you. How they feel about you. If they're going to partner with you, they want to know you. They want to know, your thought process. What's your future plans? What are you going to do? One of the biggest, to me, the most important philosophies of this business is upline serves the downline. All right. So the downline doesn't work for the upline. On the contrary, upline serves the downline. And if you duplicate that process, you will build a very successful network. So Dr. Ogina, he has the same beliefs and philosophies I do, but we didn't know that. The only way you get to know that is by getting to know somebody. So people buy you first, very, very important. And that goes back to the prospecting part too. In fact, I need to put that, Claudia, if you remember that, into step 2, because it's so true. People buy you first in your prospecting efforts. We have Trisha with us as well. Trisha, I'm going to unmute you real quick. Trisha is Kenyan, but I believe you're in South Africa, correct?
Yes, I am.
So how long are you there for?
Yes. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. We can hear you. Yeah. So
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Can you hear us? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now?
Turn your video off. That might help.
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Slightly late to the call because I was. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was with a client and I had just recommended Transfer Factor to her. So I saw her off and jumped onto the call. So yeah, I'm over here trying to prospect and, both for customers and for affiliates. So we're having a good time.
Nice. South Africa is another gold mine. There's, when I go to South Africa, I get on the motorway, the freeway. There's a 3-story Amway building right off the motorway as you just outside of the airport as you're heading, into Johannesburg, or on the way to Sandton, actually. Also, I tell this story. I was going back to the Intercontinental Hotel one time, this is a few years back, in South Africa, and the Uber driver was trying to get to the hotel, and he was going down the street, and he was like serpentining around people. There was so many people, 10,000 people or so in the streets. And I said, what's going on here? He said, look out the window. I looked out the window, all these flags down the street said Herbalife, 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 Herbalife. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, this is a network marketing country. So South Africa also is a gold mine for those of you that want to get into South Africa. We have an LP center there. So anyhow, so let's go ahead and kind of, wrap up here in a minute here. So 4-step plan of action: prepare, prospect, identify, solidify. All right. Solidifying is the relationships we develop. Work on those. You have to be patient, when you're talking to people. We've got Ron here. Hey, Ron, I'm going to unmute you real quick. Ron, where's Ron? Do I see Ron here? Did I lose Ron? There he is. Ron, I'm unmuting you there.
Hopefully, yes, sir.
Hey, so this is a classic example. Ron, when did you and I first meet? How long ago?
2004.
2014. Okay. We talk about timing. Timing is everything. You took a look at For Life. We talked. You got to know me a little bit. 2014. How many years ago was that? 8 years ago, going on 9 years, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, all of a sudden the timing is right. Things are lined up. Want to, ready to get going, get building. So here we are, years and years and years later, you reach out to me. All right. So now here you are joining, For Life again, second time, basically. And how many times have we talked in the past week?
Probably more than you want to admit to. I've called Dave for everything. I've been in the industry 35 years this year. And when I met Dave 2014, it was not good timing for me. I loved everything I saw. We had a bunch of people that had went to corporate. It was great. It just was bad timing for me. And since then, unfortunately, I've been with some companies. And one of the biggest concerns I've had with companies is, will the upline support people? I had some health issues and I wanted to make sure that whatever I did and built, that my upline always got support. So I guess I've kind of wore out Dave for about the last 5 days, calling him on everything I could, just to make sure he picks up the phone. That way, if something ever happened, then I know my group could be taken care of.
Thanks, Ron. But
So
yeah,
and it worked. He's answered every time. If he died, he said, "I'll call you right back." And boy, he calls you back before you hang up. So it's been great.
and thanks, Ron. This business, it's work. I tell people it's simple, but it's not easy. It's effort. Of course, but it's fun. I think it's fun. I find prospecting fun when I talk to someone. I think it's a fun challenge to meet somebody. First, you win their friendship. All right. You gain friendship, and that can be done quickly. The lady next to the plane, the whole flight, she was just chatting with me. You meet someone and you establish a friendship quickly. Then it's about trust. You gain their trust. How's the trust gained? By taking the time, by addressing what's important to them. You see, you're building a network. A network's built upon relationships. Products, yeah, but there's always going to be new products that we're going to bring to the table. Look, my messaging for 2023 is changing. It's always transfer factor. I love transfer factor, but I'm telling you guys, gold factor, that's gold, man. I mean, it is gold. That product, I'm going to be talking to Dr. Brent Vaughn this week, so I want to really get my messaging down on that. But what gold factor does for the brain, I know this may sound stupid. I didn't know this, but the brain cells you're born with, that's all you're going to have your entire life. Am I right, Doc? Dr. Gina? The brain cells you're born with, that's it. You ain't going to get any more. All right. So what gold factor does for the brain and even memory, and then what it does for telomerase, which is an enzyme, that basically it's the enzyme that either accelerates or decelerates or slows down, the dying off, the death of cells. So if you can slow down the process or degradation of telomeres by activating the enzyme telomerase, you literally slow down aging. What does that do? That means you're slowing down all the age-related diseases. One of the studies is on arthritis. And by the way, I think I have that open in my computer. I was reading it. So this gold factor is patented, and the scientists that work, that David Lisenby's worked with to bring this to us, won a Nobel Prize. You don't just win Nobel Prizes every day. So I'm telling you, gold factor, that's a big part of my messaging in 2023 as I talk to people. Anti-aging, gold factor, removing pain, joint pain. Think about this, baby boomers. The baby boomers are in a place now where they want to age gracefully. They want to feel good. They don't want to feel pain. Gold factor. So you guys, here we are at the end of the year. This is our last Mentor Monday. I'd like everyone to just kind of reflect, a year ago, what was going on? Where were you in in life and business, everything, going on with you. And where here we are today, where do we want to be next year? What are your goals, or resolutions? Where do you want to be? And then how are you going to get there? Well, I hope and pray that we as a team can contribute, helping you, get to your goals, wherever it is you want to be, especially your financial goals. We always say teamwork makes the dream work. It's about working together, helping each other. People do like being associated in an environment of positive people. Everyone's working towards, common goals and aspirations and so forth. Everyone's got their own financial, goals or desires. Some, it might be a new car. Somebody might be a new house. Someone else, it might be total financial independence. Whatever it is, we're here to help. When it comes to health and wellness, we have products. Every week, Dr. Ogina does do his health talk. Again, I know it's in the morning time here, in the States. Well, it could be afternoon in the East Coast. But Dr. Ogina has graciously dedicated his time to pick a topic, and it could be, Doc's trying to come back in the room. It could be on arthritis. It could be on women's, female issues or male issues. But they take topics and they really get into it every week. Doc, I'm mentioning your health talk that you do each week. But we're here to help people with their needs, whatever they may be. Bring them to the table. Invite your friends. Invite your guests. Also, please understand that Mentor Mondays, it's not an opportunity presentation. We do talk about how to do a good opportunity presentation now and then, but we take a subject, a topic, and we focus on that. This whole month, it was the plan of action. Each week, we focused on one of the topics: prepare, then prospect, identify, and today solidify. So we'll begin next year. Claudia and I kind of go through and we pick these topics. If any of you have anything that you think we should focus on, especially our newcomers that are getting started here in the USA, please, it could be pay plan. The pay plan, I love it. I was involved in writing For Life Pay Plan. I love pay plans, but some people, it's a very difficult topic, to understand numbers. Try to do it in a simple manner, but some people love that. We could talk about that. We could talk about, how to use my shop. Gabie, my wife, is wonderful when it comes to showing people how to use their links on Instagram, on social media, where you can put an Instagram post out there, a reel, like a little video, and then you put a link on it, and you put whatever you want the link to say, like, buy now, click here, and they click on it, it goes straight to your shop. Gabie's very creative with that. Gabie's also very creative when it comes to using our products for baking, cookies, smoothies. Gabie makes the most awesome chocolate smoothie with our protein. I drank a whole bunch over the weekend, so she's very good at that. These are things that we can do as well. So, but we need to know what you guys would like to hear. How do we know? A couple ways. You can go to my website if you want. Say, hey, Dave, why don't you address this on your calls? All right. We actually, Claudia sees those usually before me, but she'll let me know, that we need to talk about this or that. And another way is just communicating with the upline, letting us know, what it is. So I want to pass it to Gabie to kind of finish up here and just share a last word before we close out today. We'll be going on an hour. We don't ever like to go over an hour on these calls. And she'll finish up with the our last Mentor Monday of the year. Sweetie, I'll pass it to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, everyone, for being here. This capacity, how many does this Zoom room have? Like 100 or 500 people?
500 on this.
500. Wow. And let's see. So let's make it a resolution for next week, I guess, to invite more of our affiliates on these Zoom calls. Okay. Dave and I were attending seminars here locally in San Diego, and the average cost of a seminar, what is it, like $100? We've attended seminars that are free. But
Tony Robbins is 10,000 if you want to sit up front.
yeah, if you want the after party, that goes with it. I know people that pay up to 20,000 just to be part of their VIP party. Obviously, those prices are just to mingle with Tony Robbins or Eric Worre. But my point is, we don't charge anything, at least not yet.
We never will.
I know, but what I'm saying is this information, it's because you asked for it, and our Zoom calls are designed to help you in your business, with your affiliates. So even if you invite people, let's say to a meeting, say, we're going to have a meeting, and then we're going to hear, our guest speaker on our Mentor Monday call, and you gather around, and afterwards you sample some product. Meetings, face-to-face meetings or meetings in your office or in your home are meant to be fun. They're not meant to be, make them fun. Also involve your affiliates in your meetings, like discuss what the topic's going to be, and then assign Dr. Gina to do the presentation on something that he is basically, he'll think of something that he really wants to present. I'll tell Claudia, you're going to do the opening, you're going to do the introductions. Involve and like Dave always says, involvement creates commitment. And then J. Michael, I'm going to have you close. Just involve your affiliates. And then me, I can bring the cookies, or I can bring the snacks, or I can teach people how to make the smoothies, a healthy smoothie. Sometimes when I make my vanilla smoothie, I add banana and cinnamon and some vanilla. And I mean, that's kind of a breakfast substitute. I could probably think if you add some NutriStart spirulina, blue spirulina to it. I mean, just make them fun, delicious, and believe me, people, when they go to your home for meetings, the snacks, they do make a difference in the sales of it. And you can even add to that snack a little QR code with the name of the product, so they could probably buy it there on the spot. I mean, there's so many ways to be creative, but let's make it a goal to bring more people to these Zoom calls. The people speaking, do prepare. And Dave is a library of knowledge. He really is. I can give him any subject and he just can share what he knows. But as well, you all have a library of knowledge, and we would love to hear from you. So if you would love to host one of these Zoom calls, we want you to be involved. So with that, let's end the year strong. We have so many wonderful opportunities, products, and we're here for you. These Zoom calls are designed to help you grow your business. So with that, Happy New Year if we don't talk soon, or sooner than that. If not, then we'll see you on next Mentor Monday.
Next Mentor Monday on January 2nd, but we've got all week, you guys. Hey, let's finish strong, all right? Finish this week strong. Let me tell you something. I don't know why, maybe the stars all line up for me or something, but December's always been for me one of my best recruiting months. Ron Saunders just joined, basically last week for life, and there's already, in fact, Ron, I'll pass the microphone to you. You've got a number of guests on. If you don't mind, just tell us, who you've got on this morning. But your first week here, I think you probably already got your builder bonus going, and committed to making presidential next month, which will be your first month really in the business, first full month. But Ron, go ahead, take the microphone for a quick minute here before we close.
Yeah, thank you. I forgot to say something, and Gabby just made me realize why I reached back out to you, but you kind of cut me short. I want presidential elite next month, so you cut me short on my goal there. But Gabby mentioned about how expensive it is to, see Tony Robbins and that, and the rewards you get from that. I mean, I've spent $20,000 to see Tony Robbins, $25,000 Danny Johnson. I met all these people. I've seen all these people. But when I sat with Dave and Gabby out in Utah, Back then, I can't even remember the restaurant. It didn't really matter. Listening to both of them and their authenticity was what always resonated with me, because Dave is this wealth of knowledge, and I felt like I wasted all this money because I could learn from Dave. Everything I learned, I was paying these people. But Gabie had the conviction that I've never seen anyone. I mean, Dave probably has it too, but I'm just speaking of Gabie here. She had the conviction that I've never ever seen in 35 years in this industry, that she truly wanted to help everyone. She doesn't care if you put one person in a week or 500 people. The combination of those two, I think, is the best dynamic duo you'll ever find in this industry. And that's what resonated with me when I got the timing right and where I could come out and build. So yeah, we've got James in Phoenix that's come in. Like you said, Dave, I've got Jeff Pollard, who you met in the past, Richard Donahue. We've got several other people coming in. We've got a lady coming this week that has over 25,000 people in Africa. So, we got a good group growing. This is a home. And, after being in this industry a long time, I can tell you the culture here is better than anything I've seen. And if you're working with Dave and Gabie, can't find a better people to work with.
Thank you, Ron. Appreciate that. The feeling's mutual. Looking forward to 2023. Going and growing, building together. In fact, that's the word, by the way, 2023. Right? In Spanish, I was telling everyone in Spanish, we did the Spanish call last week. Crecer. That means grow, grow, grow. Grow yourself. You grow yourself, you're going to grow your business. You're going to grow your pocketbook as well. So let's make 2023 a year of growth, personal growth as well. I'm saying. So you guys, we love you guys. Thank you, our new guest, for joining and being part of the For Life family. Let's all, by the way, Gold Factor. If those of you that are, if you're not familiar with the new product, Gold Factor, please take the time to just go and read some of the studies. By the way, if you want to know where the studies are, I talked to the company. I've asked them to put them in an app. Just put a section in the app that says peer review studies. Okay. That way, when you click on consumer, you'll see it as a topic, peer review studies. But the easy way to get to it, if you want to, is on the website. You go to forlife.com, click on about company. You got these categories: science, success, service. Click on science. Just scroll down the page and you'll get down to where it says peer review studies. They're all listed right there. Okay. So you guys, thanks again. Love you all. If you're not with us during the week, Happy New Year. But hey, got a whole week left. Keep going, keep growing. Let me unmute the microphones real quick.
Claudia, you want to say something?
Claudia,
I need 2 more minutes.
Back to you, Claudia. I'm sorry.
Okay, so it is 1:04, and so we want to make sure that anybody that needs to get to the next appointment or their next scheduled agenda, you can jump out. But please, if you allow me 3 more minutes, Dave and Gabie, yes, Ronnie said it right. They are the most amazing leaders. Ronnie, welcome again back to the family, because you've come back home, and we welcome you with open arms. And for your guests, Jeff and James, I'm just going to do a little bit of where to find some of the things. And because we have some new people, I want to acknowledge Mr. Hector Julio, who I've never seen in our presentations. I don't think so. So from Antigua, it's the first time I see somebody from Antigua and Barbuda. So welcome Hector Julio. And of course to our guests, Jeff and James. I don't think I had anybody else that was brand new. Some new names that I've seen before. And the first thing I want to share is the website. I think everybody knows, and I know that it should be easy enough, but just to do a little bit of admin here. This is Dave and Gabie's website, davedaughtry.com. You're going to find a calendar. In the calendar, you're going to find all the meetings with the right code, and that includes the Africa meetings that Dr. Regina leads. And there is a new meeting. First Wednesday of every month, Dave is going to be doing a business opportunity for the morning. So, you know, if you are like Dave, actually we had 23 people and 9 of them were from the USA. So this is the first time we're starting to balance that room. And so what you will see in January, it's not built yet, is that on the first Wednesday of every month, Dave and other guests, but in this case, it'll be Dave. On the first Wednesday, there will always be a business opportunity meeting. And also in the morning, Dr. Regina holds his business opportunity meeting. In the evening, for the US people, we have trainings every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. So that's 9 p.m. Florida people. And Wednesdays, our business opportunity, so training Tuesdays, opportunity on Wednesdays, that's in the evening. Why I want to point this one out, because we have our big goodbye get together this Wednesday. The next thing is the Telegram. So telecommunications, this is just, we don't post any kind of, you know, a lot of stuff here except the reminders, which is how we want to keep it. That's why we call it a communication group. We don't post anything else. So Telegram is nice for that. This is our end of the year on Wednesday night. Kenya, I know it's a little bit late for you, but if you are an early riser or, you know, you work in the evening, it'll be nice. We have a great lineup of guests. That's this Wednesday. And the other thing that we are starting for the new year, you know, it's just the beginning, what we're planting. Brandon and Gabie are going to start helping me a little bit. And we only have 2 videos right now, is welcome to your new YouTube channel. Now, this one's going to be in English and Spanish. There's not, you know, we just don't have enough time to build one for Spanish, one for English. So we're just going to do English, and you'll find playlists. Right now, I only have the 2 Mentor Mondays. So people all the time are asking, where are the recordings? Where are the recordings? We're going to upload the recordings in this YouTube channel, and it's I'm going to post it on the Telegram. So make sure that you join the Telegram, and then you can ask any questions through there, or just ask the questions through the contact us in Dave's calendar. Dave and I will be checking on those messages, and that's it. That was my share. So for those new guests, don't worry, we remind you of the meetings. We have all the meetings that you need. We have over 50 meetings for Ronnie. I think you'd be quite pleased that we actually hold over 50 meetings in Dave's Zoom rooms in Portuguese, English, and Spanish. So if that's not support, I don't know what else it is, because 50 meetings a week is a lot of meetings. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Dave and Gabie, for the amazing work you have done this year, and keep growing, keep just all the team together, because we are a family. And like I said, Ronnie, welcome home, welcome back to the family, and to your guests. We hope that you guys are already registered and ready to go, because you're not going to find anything better than this.
Bye, guys.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks,
Bye-bye, everybody.
everyone.
Now you can
Bye,
unmute.
Claudia. Bye, Gabie. Bye, Dave.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New
Hi,
Year.
Trisha.
Happy New Year to
Enjoy South
everybody.
Africa.
Happy New Year,
Bye-bye.
guys. Love you all.
Bye, everyone. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Good night, Kenya. That's right. Tomorrow, Dr. Regina, don't miss Health Talk with Dr. Regina. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.